Bescheid. Nintendo. Kaffee.
The reason I moved to Beacon, at the time we got married, my wife and she had a job in Beacon, and I was doing almost exclusively freelance work at the time. So she walked to work and I took the car. So that's why we moved to Beacon. Well, I make my living as an organist, and I play for a Catholic church in Middletown, New York. I play for a synagogue in Poughkeepsie. Well, one Christmas, when I was about 45, my wife, she didn't know what to get me. And she thought, well, maybe Joe would like a gong. So I start tearing the paper off, and on the top, I saw this Indonesian dragon like looking at me, And I'm like, what the heck is this? And I started taking it apart, and it was a gong. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. They were very happy because I was ecstatic with this gift. And I said to myself, something, this is a Javanese gong, and this is different from the Chinese type of gong or the Thai type gongs. I think I want to get another one just to play off them. So I, probably got another one in January, and then, it was like a downhill spiral, man. I couldn't stop myself. I never imagined I would enjoy it as much as I did. It's like a kid getting a toy that they like and then getting another one and another one, Before you know it, I had like 50 gongs, and then, another year went by, and I said, okay, well, I do need this to fill a hole. And as I started to learn more about the gongs, I said I would like that. And so now it's about 65 different pieces.
I originally met Joe in Pleasant Valley. He basically called up and he asked about recording his bronze collection. And that's kind of how I met him. And then a few years after that, he came upon me and, said, do you want to do this project called Bridge Music?
When I was 16 years old, I went on a class trip to France and Spain. And while I was there, I saw this cute girl. I befriended her. She didn't know I was gunning for her. This is like the city of love. I may never get to Paris again. I got to kiss a woman on top of the Eiffel Tower. We had some time. I said, let's go to the Eiffel Tower. Our group is not going to go up the Eiffel Tower. Let's you and I go. I was 16. I was bold. And I gave her a kiss. That was 40 years ago, and she's my wife now. 35 years later, I had just finished a performance, and I'm lying in bed. I'm like worn out. So we had this big poster of the Eiffel Tower, and my wife, she took a swing at the Eiffel Tower like I was playing the gongs, and this light bulb went off in my head. I was like, of course, everything vibrates. That would work. So I wanted to do something authentic. I went to the library, and I got every book I could on bridge building. I got very technical books. I got children's books so I could understand them. I got an appointment with the New York State Bridge Authority.
My first encounter with Joe Bertolozzi was just a phone call from our public relations director who said, oh, we got a strange request. Can we come down and talk with you? You're the chief engineer. This seems like there's going to be an engineering impact to this request. So the three of them came down, and and introduced Joe Bertolozzi, and he explained his project and how he wanted to collect musical sounds from the bridge, and the mechanics of his collection methods. I didn't like at all, but he was very polite, and he would not give up. My boss got tired of listening to us argue, so he said, "Give him 3 days, let him try out his ideas, and we'll see if it's worth pursuing."
You see, he wanted to use the cables on the Mid-Hudson Bridge or the FDR Bridge as kind of a violin strings or harp strings. You could almost see how his mind was working on this, because he wanted to do something really spectacular. He wanted to use the city as kind of his musical instrument, if you want to put it that way. But he had an idea first of a kind of a bow that he was going to put across those cables, and I said, Joe, I don't know, what kind of a bow would you get? And he said, like a log, that you would kind of swing. Now imagine that, like a log swinging across the cables. I said, boy, I think that one would be a real hard one for the city to come up with. I said, I could just see the insurance costs going like this, with this log, kind of swinging across the cables.
Well, we first found out about Joe through Craig, which is my boss, and he told us that there's this guy. Didn't give us a name or anything. There's this guy who wants to make music on the bridge. And we were like, all right, so he wants to take musical equipment. He goes, no, he wants to play the bridge like a piece of, like a musical instrument. We were like, what is this guy smoking?
So if you're going and doing an environmental art project, like bridge music, and you're going to go and you're going to record a bridge, or you're going to record some edifice, that's an unknown. That's an instrument that you as a producer, as an engineer, you don't really know what that instrument sounds like, because nobody's ever thought about that edifice as an instrument.
It's the first time we got out to the bridge. We weren't really sure what we were going to get, because it was a new thing, never really done it before. And Joe was I think kind of excited too, because when we first did it, he's hitting it. And then when he finally got to hear it in the headphones, he's like, oh, wow, this will work.
It got to the point after the first day that he requested me to go out, because it was faster for me to get up and down, switch out microphones or whatever, because it was a lot of taping and untaping and taping and untaping, climbing up. He wanted them higher, lower, all over the place. The one day Joe was looking for a different sound, I thought, what if we had a bucket of 1/4-inch ball bearings? We dumped that down the tower. Well, Joe overheard us, thought it was a great idea. So the next day, Joe shows up. He has a 5-gallon pail of 1/4-inch diameter steel balls.
The microphones for the rain stick effect were at the very top, and then there was 2 little small lavalier microphones hidden out of the way. As he poured, 1,000 shot down the tower, you'd hear it going.
I do still get grief about it today, because my boss had to send us down there to clean all the balls up, and they were kind of, in all the corners, and I still hear about it.
A lot of people, knowing that I was an organist, they wonder how I could get so involved in this public art project that has nothing to do with, traditional instruments. What interested me was the music, not the medium. And just because I was so interested in the sound, I didn't say to myself, oh, I don't play a gong. Oh, I don't play a bridge. You can't play a bridge. Your initial thought is that the guards are going to, train their rifles on you when you come at it with a drumstick, right? It didn't even figure into the equation. It was like, I want to do that, and I'll find a way to do it.
When you're writing a concert music score, the recording is great, but there's nothing better than actually having the performers perform in a live event where there's an audience, because that's a place where dialogue can take place.
The original concept of bridge music was to go out and record it to prove that it could actually work as a live concert.
And I chose the Mid-Hudson Bridge in Poughkeepsie mainly because this was intended to be a live concert. And the shores are pretty close together. There's places for people to congregate for the live concert. Musicians would be playing on the bridge. We'd have video cameras shooting them and microphones picking up their sound, and there would be these jumbotrons on both sides of the river, and it would tie people on both sides of the river together, be part of the Henry Hudson Quadricentennial. It was a perfect project.
I know that if there was the slightest possibility to have a live event at the bridge, that he would pursue it in a maniacal way. He wants that to happen. I think he's driven to say that this is the ultimate expression of my creative output.
I mean, a lot of time has passed, you know. I haven't really thought about it until, you know, just now, over these last few weeks. Didn't really think that it was 10 years ago.
After we were done and the CD was actually made and released to, you know, prove it could be a viable product, you know, Joe was trying to drum up funding, you know, to do it as a live event.
The big problem with working with an environmental art project like this is that it's not going to cost $5,000. You know, to do a live event at the bridge or, you know, in Paris for the Eiffel Tower, we're talking about millions and millions of dollars.
My plan was that I was going to find commercial sponsorship for this. In the end, nothing happened. So my idea of doing a live concert, which was that was the focal point of this bridge music project, the live event just didn't seem like we could finance it.
What a better background than the river. What a better background than the Hudson River and the Hudson Valley. It is just an extraordinary place to live, and that kind of thing commands a bigger look, a bigger visualization of art. And I have to say, Bertolozzi was one of those people who understood exactly what I was feeling and what I was expecting. The thing with Bertolozzi is that he has just got this true commitment about things. He does not give up on these ideas, and he eventually just wears you down.
You know, this is a very hard project to explain. Most people thought I was nuts, that this was too big a project. As we progressed through the process, people saw that I was making progress. And then when I had finished bridge music, I now had something to show for it. And then I said, oh man, yeah, this was supposed to be the Eiffel Tower. And I just walked over to my computer, you know, who owns the Eiffel Tower?
The bridge, in a way, was a proof of concept. He was able to figure out that this was a large edifice, that I'm going to figure out, you know, how to create an instrument from this, and he was successful in doing that. So it made sense that he would move on to a different edifice to do the same thing. So my feeling was, hey, he already has proved that this is a viable concept. The difficulties is the logistics. So I knew we were in for, you know, some tricky logistics in order for us to get to Paris to record the tower. I had a gut feeling that this just was going to work.
To have come home with 10,000 samples, could not have done that. Would have not have had the latitude to choose from all those sounds to write my music if I hadn't had that team with me.
I mean, it's amazing to think of what he took and made music out of. You know, it takes a different thought process. I wouldn't take it from playing a gong in my living room to, all right, now let's go play a bridge. It's not something I would do.
Art should excite. Art should give you a bigger picture. Art should be the surprise effect. It should be that X thing that you just didn't expect. Because if it becomes so expected, then I think It becomes a commonplace thing. And art should not be commonplace. In our communities, it can help be a leader in terms of letting people think bigger.
I didn't do bridge music so I could do tower music. Doing bridge music helped me do tower music. Just the thought of being able to be, the man who played the Eiffel Tower was exciting to me. I thought playing the bridge would be cool. I thought playing these things would be cool. I thought having trumpets on top of the buildings and having the city bells ring as part of a composition would be cool.